Leanne Murphy-Baker is a veterans advocate. She advocates for disabled veterans who have applied for benefits before the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Board of Veterans Appeals. She is individually accredited by the Office of General Counsel of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. She has been highly recognized for her dedication to her community and veterans, and for her skill and devotion in helping veterans with their disability claims. Each one of the speakers has a lengthy bio. You can find more information on our website, plus links. I'm only just giving you a brief synopsis. So I'd like to welcome Leanne Murphy-Baker.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me? I put up my big girl voice. First things first, all of our veterans, can you raise your hands, please? Wow, I'm impressed. I just want to say thank you very much for your service and everything you guys do, and welcome home. Are any of you Marines? Oh, you guys suck. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I only say that because I have one Marine. No?
My father was a Marine.
I married the Marine Corps on the former El Toro base, so I'm a little partial. I divorced him too, but I did give him 10 years. You know, and I also worked for the United States Army. The day I turned 16 in Los Alamitos, so I was called back a second year by the base commandant, so I'm very proud of that work history I have. What makes me a little bit different, am I a veteran? No. I was going to join the Army, but I had a little issue. It was called pregnancy, so I made a choice and became a mom. And back then, my son's over 30 now, but back then, women were not allowed to, we had to give up all rights to our children to join, and it's a little bit different nowadays. What I actually really specialize in is helping the veteran obtain all of their legal entitled benefits under appeals. In what we refer to as Q cases, which is actually a legal review of their case file. That overlaps in their medical benefits. The VA is actually a cabinet that's divided into 3 categories. You have the medical, which has just been blasted with the death of veterans, and then you have benefits, and then you have cemetery, and under each of these separate entities, you have all these little subcommittees that come underneath that. I work mostly between the medical and benefits. And I just want to bring up, today I was actually in Connecticut. I had a hearing at the regional office, and for me to get to the regional office up in Newington, Connecticut, I have to go through the medical center. So I always stop and talk to all the veterans acquiring medical benefits. You know, what veterans don't know is if you have issues in obtaining your like appointments and things like that, every VA medical center, there's 172 in the nation, they have what's referred to as patient representatives. You can go and talk to them. I've done it. I've actually written letters to doctors. I've called the doctor's office on behalf of my veterans and said, hey, they need an appointment today. And if they try to, walk me over it, anybody who's ever interacted to me knows that's not going to work. It's my way and that's it. I'm very straightforward about fighting for my veterans, and I don't care if you are the president, a state senator. It doesn't matter to me. If anybody's ever seen me at any of the legislative breakfasts, Marvin here has. How am I, Marvin?
Absolutely fabulous.
No, you're supposed to say I scare them. But no, seriously, when it comes to our political figures, just recently I had a meeting with the chairman for the Veterans Committee for Nassau County and their council. They had no idea how the VA operates. Why are you the chairman then? And when you have oversight committees, I think it's very important, and that's part of why we have a system that actually is a very good system, but when it was first initiated, it was able to accommodate what it was going to do, and then we had a lot of hiccups along the way, where veterans weren't allowed to even get medical benefits. This is back during the 80s. My uncle was one of them. That's why I do what I do. He was one of my first clients. And that's also how I came up with my company name, Veterans Protected. That was his idea, so I named that after him. He served in the Blue Waters in Vietnam, and he's very sick now, but at least he's living a better life and he's not struggling like he was, and he's getting a lot of medical attention. I think one of the things, I've had a lot of veterans die on me over the years too, because I represent veterans from here to Hawaii. I traveled the United States, all over the country, and I would say it gives me an opportunity to interact with all these different medical facilities and regional offices. I talk to the staff, I find out what's going on in there, get to know them. VA doctors refer veterans to me regarding their claims, and I think that's huge. And when I'm talking to them, one of the things I'm asking, well, what's your system? How does it operate? How long is it going to take for them to get an appointment? You know what, my vet needs help right now. And I've actually have had my veterans go into the emergency room. I've called the attending physician in the ER and I said, my veteran needs a bed. Don't make me come out there. And you know what, it happens. You know, they get what they need. Or I send the police. I've even said, my veteran's suicidal, you need to go out there and talk to the VA staff. I've done that too. And so there are a little bit of, some of them know me, and when they see me, sometimes they'll talk to me, sometimes they won't, you know, it's okay. But, you know, when we get into, and somebody time me, because I don't know what my time is. Okay. Give me a 1 minute warning. You know, when we get into oversight, you know, we already have veteran organizations who oversight the VA. One of them is the American Legion. I was talking to a gentleman here about that. Like any oversight committee, it has to be revamped. And because I travel the country, I see how the different states operate. I will definitely tell you, one of the better states in this nation is New Jersey. New Jersey has, all of their counties have meetings every other month. And I'm a member of the state, so I attend their meetings when I can. And, you know, I speak to all the representatives, people from the different hospitals. Over in Newark is a main facility, and they have some other facilities that they're operating there. And, you know, it's a nice thing because they all come together and they actually look out for the veterans together. And we talk about what's going on throughout the state, what needs to be readdressed. Is there any flaws? Is there any other issues? What are we doing about medical? What are we doing for our senior veterans? What about our newer veterans, you know, that are coming back? How are we embracing them? And I really, in my opinion, I think New Jersey has it together better than any other state in this nation. California is a very difficult state, only because it's so large. They have 3 regional offices, they got 3 main, their medical facilities. They have a very large population. Florida is one of the worst. New York has some issues, they really do. With that being said, I've actually been called into a meeting at the regional office in Houston Street and had a talking to, because when it comes to medical exams, I will write a letter to the VA and I will say, I don't want my vet going to Northport. I know if they go to Brooklyn, because I understand all of our medical facilities, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, and Northport, St. Albans, I understand how they all operate. And if it's a certain type of ailment, I'll say, I want you to go to Brooklyn. You're not going to go to Northport. No way. And they called me in, they said, Leanne, you have to stop trying to redirect everybody because we're based on a regional system. My response to that was, well, your system sucks because it's not giving my vets what they need. And they were like, please work with us. No, you work with me because I'm out here grassroots and I understand you have your little system. It may have worked 5 years ago, but it's not working today. And they said, okay, have some, you know, kind of compromise with us. Well, by the way, that particular vet on that last one, I won. So, you know, with that being said, I'm of the opinion that, yeah, we're looking at Obamacare, we're looking at government run, but then, you know, like any government agency, what is the oversight? It has to be a combination of things. I don't believe that we should have, looking out for our veterans, you know, I'm not a veteran, but I think I'm good at what I do because I'm very passionate about what I do, and it's personal to me. I don't think it should be all veterans. I think it should be a very good balance, like what they have in New Jersey. New Jersey has a very good balance with their state association that does these fact checkings of all the medical facilities and the VSOs and everything. You know, they're a combination of people who specialize in TBI, mental health, neurological disorders. You know, some of them are, of course, they're veterans in there of all wars. Not just one, all of them. And I really appreciate seeing our younger vets and listening to what their take is on things. And I'm also talking to people at the colleges over there. And I think collectively with that type of brainstorming and that meeting together every other month, we're in a position to really do better. And, you know, my veterans in New Jersey are getting very good care. I will say that. I don't have any issues in New Jersey. You know, the director of our at the regional office, his name is Michael Blaze. Very nice man, and I've sat down with him many times, same as the manager down in Philadelphia. You know, it's having those good relationships to say, hey, somebody's not doing the job. We need to reach out to them, let them know they're not doing the job. If they can't do the job, fire them. I don't care if you're a civilian vet, it doesn't matter. You either do the job or you don't. There's no in between, just like VA law. It's no gray area. It's either you have a nexus and you meet one of the 4 different types of claims or you don't. Otherwise, don't get in the system. And that's the attitude I take. And I take that because in the last 4 years, I've only lost 1 case in Washington. And I'm very proud of my record. And not to say that could change tomorrow, but I really do try my best. And you know, with our medical situation here, I think it's more of understanding how, one, what happened with Oversight? What happened in Phoenix? Because Phoenix is, I've had veterans in Arizona. Some of the issues I run into there is, you only have 1 regional office, and then when you look at the IG's office, even here in New York, you only have 4 investigators here in Manhattan that actually do any type of investigations. And when I've reported issues to the IG's office throughout the country regarding, I've had veterans misdiagnosed, I've had veterans steal money, I've had all types of things. I've worked with the IG's office, they know me. And you know, I think they're very much undermanned. They very seriously are. 4 investigators for New York, and it also goes over to New Jersey and up to Connecticut. That is a huge territory to cover, because if you look at the veteran population, you're looking at easily, I mean, what, 200,000-300,000? That's a lot of people that you have to kind of monitor, actually, and then you take into some of their relatives that get involved with these issues, especially if you have spouses and so forth. So I think when we're looking at a solution and trying to prepare ourselves, is one, we really need to be educated. How does the system work? What do I need to do? Because I'll tell you, even like today in my hearing, we're before the judge and we're talking, and my veteran's giving testimony. And one of the things my veteran said was, I can't get an appointment for my skin condition. I looked at her and I said, why didn't you tell me? We're going to fix that today. We're at the medical center, you know? And which we did. I took her over, we went to the patient representative, and she said, I never knew this person existed. I said, did you also know that this particular facility has also 2 social workers? Their job is to sit there and to navigate the system if you cannot get doctor appointments. That's their job, that's it. And she didn't even know they had them. Newington only has 1 patient representative and 2 social workers for this, which is not very much considering they govern most of Connecticut. And then there's a medical facility in West Haven, which is smaller. So again, you know, it's really understanding the system, getting to work out there, educating veterans, letting them know what their medical rights are, how they can navigate the system, and really policing them so that they don't fall into a system where they're going to pass away. And then having people step up, like myself. All right, I have letters, and I take them straight to the doctor's office. I call the doctor. I've done that, especially with one of my veterans. We needed a kidney transplant, and he was on the list, and we were able to really rush it. Unfortunately, the very next day during dialysis, he passed away. But we made a lot of headway within a day, because I was like, well, how long have you been on the list? And he told me, and I said, oh no, we're going to push this up. And even the doctor said, I'm doing everything I can, you know. They were freaked out by me because I was calling them. And I do that. If I don't get what I need, I have their direct contact to their bosses. I will send a letter. I document everything because I'm always thinking, we're going to sue you. You know, and that's how I think. How am I going to deep pocket? Because when it comes down to it, money is what talks. And, you know, and I say that to some of these people. I'm like, really, did you get paid? Do you get paid every other week? I know my vet's not getting paid. What's your issue on that? Maybe we should not give you your paycheck. You know, and I talk to them like that. And they're like, okay, Leanne, okay. And boom, my veterans get their money and we're all fine. So, you know, that's just my opinion. And I just think, again, it's wondering, how did these guys get through the system? Because there is oversight, and somewhere along the line, the system failed. And we need to have people that are stepping in there. But Arizona is a hard office to work with. It wasn't easy for me when I had veterans over there. I don't currently at this moment, but when I did, it was difficult to really navigate. Oregon is another very difficult office for me. I have a hard time with Oregon. Washington was difficult in the beginning. They actually stepped up. I'm actually going to be going out there to be shown around at their medical facility. Same here, next month I'll be in New Mexico, and I'll be in Virginia and some other states. looking at their medical facilities because I have other business going on there with my vets. But I think that's just one of the things that we really need to look at is how is the system structured and where is it flawed, and let's just fix it. Bottom line. Am I in my time? I got 2 minutes. You know what? I have no idea what else to say because I feel like I've just been rambling. You guys are like, woo, she's long-winded. But, yes, sir?
How does your organization?
We'll take questions afterwards.
We'll go questions.
Oh, they want to wait and line us up here like a firing squad. That's what they want to do with us, you know. Also, I guess I'll throw this in really quick. I got 1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
With what I do, it also has brought me into another arena with our veterans, and that's working closely with our homeless veterans. And I'm also contracted with Nassau County and helping out with our veterans as well. And I will tell you, our homeless population, again, a system. A very large portion of my veterans, when I've met them, they've been in a shelter system. And I've sat there and I've said, why are you here? You have a representative. Again, it comes down to training. You know, you got a lot of people who really want to do the right thing. They may be good at it, they may not. Even for myself, I have issues or questions. I have a mentor that I call, because I need to go to somebody who, and I think that's something important that everybody has to keep in mind is, you know what, this is not an ego thing. This is a veteran thing. Leave your ego at the door. You got a question, put it aside and just say, I don't know how to do this. And I need somebody to help me. And I think that's another issue we have going on, why some of our veterans are not getting the help they need. And I run into that only because I say I'm a female and I work with all these men. I'm like surrounded by them all the time. I feel like their mother half the time. Sorry guys, I love all of you, but it's tough. It really is sometimes because most of the time I am the only woman. And so we need more women. I'm going to say that to our politicians. You guys get elected. Where's Grant? Did he leave?
He's at the bar.
Oh, he's at the bar. Typical politician. Grant, get out of the bar. But seriously, you know what? We need to have a fair representation for our veterans because I'll tell you what, our females, I'm going to be really quick, our females, talk about medical care. Every one of my female clients is a victim of an attempted or completed sexual assault. And you don't know how hard it is for me to get them in some medical attention, especially when they've had severe injuries. I've had some of them very severely tortured, and about 1/9 of my male population are victims. So again, that comes in the representation, and I'm finished. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Thank you, Leanne, and thank you for what you do. It's really a great, devoted work that you do. Thanks so much.